Hello and welcome to a PARE interview here on EULAR TV for this year's e-Congress. I'm joined by the Chair of Young PARE, Tanita-Christina. Tanita, you're very welcome to join us.
Thank you for having me.
So I'd wanted to launch in straight away with a maybe a difficult question, but as a young person with an RMD, can you think of any specific challenges that you've faced in looking for employment or being in employment?
Yeah, there were quite a few. And
Okay.
it's really a hard question to sum it up. But I guess in the first place, it was the amount of working hours that would naturally be required from someone in my age. And that was just too much for me with the pain and fatigue. So it was hard to find a part-time job,
Okay.
especially if you're like, I was coming right out of university, and usually then you just start working and learning in your field. And if you're not already experienced, it's kind of hard to get a part-time job in that field. So I was actually working not in my profession, just to have a job that fits me from the hours and is not too far away. But I also had to quit that job at one point because it was just too much to handle. But my health is getting better now, and now I'm working from home. With COVID-19, everyone's working from home anyway, so I have no problem anymore. And that's a lot better now.
And do you feel for yourself that perhaps the working from home in advance of COVID-19, it's kind of given you an advantage or something that you, even mentally, is that something that you found easier or has it been more difficult?
It still is more difficult because you're not really switching the place, so you're not mentally as prepared as if you go out of the house and into a different building. But as I was working from home part-time anyway, I have my own room where I do all my stuff. And the funny thing is, just in November, I renovated the home office. So now I have everything I need here anyway. The thing is, you have to stick to a schedule and really plan your breaks and lunchtime and stuff, so you don't get lost in all the
Just
things you
trying to
want
give
to do.
yourself that routine as well. And
Yeah.
if we move on to your voluntary work, so you've been involved with the Austrian Rheumaliga, and obviously now you're the chair of Young PARE. Can you give us a sense of what you've gained from your voluntary work? What benefit has that brought to your life?
I feel more needed and appreciated by other people, like that they appreciate what I'm doing.
Hmm.
And also the voluntary help, work of them helped me beforehand. So it really makes me happy to see that people can get help and change and feel better, and like to contribute something to a positive change. That's something I really like to see, and it really makes me happy to know, yeah, just like I'm not doing a job just to get money, but because it's really my passion and I want to help other people.
And in saying that, so the fact that you want to help other people and it's not just for money, do you see a difference then between certain voluntary roles and jobs and paid work and paid employment? Do you see a difference between the two?
Yes and no.
Okay.
um, no, because no, wait. Yes, I see a difference because as for a job you get paid, you can also only do it because you need money.
Mhm.
But usually, if you are working voluntarily, no one will stick to a job he or she doesn't like.
Yeah.
But also, I think that the work is still as valuable if it's voluntary or if you get paid. Like, it's still your time and effort. And
Mhm.
I think that voluntary work sometimes is even more precious because it's in your spare time, and you really have, like, you don't get money for it, but you still have to make the time to do it, and or travel or yeah, stuff like that.
And
So it's, I mean, if I would get paid for it, of course it would be nice, But then also I think it would make kind of a pressure, because then it's more, I don't know, more pressure.
It's true. There are pros and cons, as it said, between
Yeah.
voluntary and paid employment. And when you look now for yourself, you know, you talk about trying to find a job that suited with part-time hours when you came out of university. How did you manage and have the energy to be able to do that, and also then voluntary as well? Was that a particularly tough time for you?
Yeah, I actually started volunteering a few months before I had to quit my job. But
Hmm.
the thing is, I was volunteering like from my couch. I was answering emails, or answering the phone, or doing graphic stuff on the computer in my bed. So
Yeah.
it was better than if you really have these strict deadlines. And so that's, I think, something positive for voluntary work. And also, if you work with other chronically ill people, they understand if you cannot function, and they say, okay, well, I will do it, or you can still do it tomorrow or the week after or something. So they're more flexible than paid work.
And now, obviously, with your work with Young PARE, you're working with others across Europe and helping to lead those with who are living with an RMD, who have their own struggles and their difficulties. And how does that make you feel? How do you feel being recognised? As you said earlier, you feel needed. Is that true?
Yeah. It still feels weird to lead this whole thing because it's really big. And in the beginning, when I got diagnosed, I was like, there's nothing for young people. There needs to be something. And then 2 years later, Young PARE was established. And now I'm even leading it. So it's really awesome what can happen in a few years. And yeah, I feel just like, how do I want to say that? You know, there's this saying that you need, maybe you can be the rainbow in someone's cloud.
Very
I don't
nice.
know if
Yeah.
you know that saying.
Okay. Yeah.
And the volunteers from my like from the Austrian Rheumaliga, they were like my rainbow when there were so many clouds. And now maybe Young PARE can be a rainbow for the clouds of young people. I don't know. It was just like something that just popped into my head. But it's really showing that we are here and there is change and you get more help, because like the health system is still focused on more the medicine stuff and less the social stuff. And I think it's started shifting already into a more holistic way. And I think it can still go on, and we can contribute to that and connect all the youth groups around Europe.
Yeah, because obviously PARE has links with Emunet, and
Yeah.
there's the professionals, the rheumatologists are involved there, and that's beginning to change, isn't it? That
Yeah.
whole outlook of the appointments and the consultations and looking at holistically at the patient is changing, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's also funny if you talk to a rheumatologist that's like from the older generation and from the younger, they really have a different kind of angle to look at things. And I think it's good that the youngers are changing the whole thing, like that they're contributing to the change in the whole system. And also that the older generations, they're still not used to it, but they're still I think overall they're really supportive of that shift. So I think it's really nice what's happening right now. And I really like working together with the doctors as a patient research partner. So yeah,
Excellent.
I
And
think
and
that's
when
really
you say about that, sorry, and you say about the change between the old and the younger rheumatologists, do you see that any difference in that with volunteers as well? Do you see that kind of change and evolution of how a volunteer acts, or how they're treated and seen by the general public?
yeah, I do. Like when I started volunteering, for example, I was by far the youngest. and now we have some, like 2 or 3 more in Austria already, and some, like, they're not all in the board, but and we have a few more active members now that are really young and younger than me. So it's really also shifting there. They saw they have to change a little bit the program and the structure of everything so it suits younger people too. And also, if you want to reach them, you have to do something so to make it more interesting. And like, as bad as COVID-19 is, I think it's a good shift into the online direction because it's much easier for young people anyway.
Very.
So,
And are you proud of your own role in perhaps bringing those younger people involved in Austria, and now as you're leading the Young PARE organization?
proud, I don't know. Maybe I should be. But I'm still human. Like, I'm not a super power being. I'm just a patient trying to help other patients. So, but also, of course, I want to evolve the whole thing and make it better for the future. And I mean, Young PARE is growing, and should be should keep on growing.
Well, I think that's a beautiful sentiment to and modest as well, might I say, that you're just a patient trying to help other patients when you're doing so much wonderful work as the chair of Young PARE. Tanita-Christina, thank you very much for joining us here on EULAR TV and giving us a wonderful insight into your volunteer work. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a nice day, and thank you for the interview.